When's the last time you read some poetry? Well, now I think is the perfect time since April is National Poetry Month. Here with more on how the city of Seattle is celebrating is our city's civic poet, Shin Yu Pai. Welcome back to New Day.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes. Okay, so for someone that doesn't know what civic poet means, maybe even including myself, can you tell the viewers what that means?
Yeah, I'm kind of like an ambassador for poetry in Seattle, so I create opportunities for people to write and share their poetry and to circulate it in different ways, have it read, have it heard, and that's included like putting poetry on public radio and currently working with putting poetry in public spaces and making it very visual in a kind of environment where people can encounter it.
Such amazing work. And tell us about this poetry campaign that you just launched and the activations that are around the city.
Sure. So last fall I did a little survey with the public to invite or to get ideas around what people wanted to read or see poems about, and that ended up kind of surfacing the theme of sustainability as connected to place. So I did like an open call to just people writing poetry in the city of Seattle, got a bunch of submissions, and then curated out 5 individuals: Joe Nasta, Bryna Antonia Cortez, Katya Alexander, Cindy Luong, and who is the last person? Brian Wilson. And so their work is curated around 7 different sites across Seattle. 5 of them are downtown, but they're physical spaces, many of them like storefronts or gallery type spaces where their poems are represented in very visual ways, like installations or window type treatments and installations where people can see the work very large and just encounter it in a very different way.
That is a really different way, not what you usually think about when you're, reading a poem maybe at home curled up. So what can people expect when they go to some of these activations, like for instance the ones in downtown Seattle? Where is that exactly located?
Yeah, so in the Seattle Municipal Tower Gallery, which is on 5th Avenue, it's a government building. As you walk up the main steps, there is an installation inside their glass front gallery space that includes this Brian Wilson poem, and my designer Jamie Yen, she designed an installation in which excerpts or lines from the poems are cut out from very long architectural plotter paper and then hung from the light fixtures in the ceiling in this way that creates kind of like this cascading vertical effect. And the poem itself is about rain and water and has like this kind of verticality of feeling and all these kind of evocations of water and currents. And so when they see that particular installation, it will give them kind of a different kind of encounter with language than they might expect. And then the other piece that's here, that's a poem by Joe Nasta that's displayed at a gallery in Belltown called Slide Gallery, and it's a poem about urban beekeeping. So it's on the windows of the Slide Gallery, and it's a poem that's paired with an image of an urban beekeeper and arts organizer and community builder named Bob Redmond, who had an important connection to Belltown years ago as a writer in residence at the Hugo House Cottages, and he passed away last year of cancer. And so that particular installation is Joe's poem about beekeeping paired with Bob's image as a kind of memorial for this really wonderful person that really served the community in beautiful ways.
Wow, what a beautiful tribute there. And any other standouts that you want, people to know about as they walk up to these installations and just poetry in general? Yeah,
there's a neat installation at Friends of Little Saigon, which is the only poem that's represented in 2 languages. It's bilingual in both Vietnamese and English, and the typeface that Jamie chose for that was by a Vietnamese type designer. But we decided that it could be really beautiful to represent that poem in 2 languages, and so Bryna Antonia Cortez, whose poem that is, she actually asked her grandfather to translate the poem for her, and so we think that's a really beautiful,
special.
Yeah, intergeneral collaboration. And then there's another piece at Seattle Public Library downtown, which has like a mirror installation down at the South Park Library that is a poem about a poet's experiences as a young person and the role of Seattle Public Libraries in really shaping their experience and providing a kind of home away from home.
Your work and everything that you're doing to put poetry, front and center for people here in Seattle and, more is just really amazing. And I've never, seen something like this where you can actually go to the installation. So thank you so much for shedding a light on the awesome work that you all are doing.
Thank you, Kelly.